Hello everybody, this is teacher Barok Tube and I am teacher Barok. Now it is time for a speak. Listening, I speak or I read passage and you listen and you develop your listening skill. So let us start. Global addiction. The 1990s have been designated by the Decade Against Drug Abuse by the United Nations. But with less than 3 years to go before the end of the decade, government and health organizations admit that they have made little progress in reducing drug, alcohol, and tobacco abuse. Today, consumption of all the substances is increasing steadily worldwide. Virtually every country now has problems with illegal drugs, and the world is producing and consuming more alcohol and tobacco than ever. Between 1970 and 1990, beer production alone rose by over 80%. And if the number of smokers keep on rising, by the second or third decade of the next century, therefore, could be 10 million deaths each year from smoking-related illness. Experts like Dr. Alan Lopez, acting manager of the Substance Abuse Program at the World Health Organization (WHO), say that taken together, abuse of legal and illegal drugs is a greater health threat than major diseases. Studies indicate that abuse of tobacco, alcohol, illicit drugs, and more mood-altering substances account for between 6 and 7% of all the deaths and injuries that occurs in the world each year. That is a massive amount, he says, and it twice as much, for example, as diseases like tuberculosis or malaria. Drugs are also a huge burden on the world economy. In the United States, for example, it is estimated that alcohol and illegal drug use cost the country tens of billions of dollars each year, mainly in health care. When the cost of tobacco-related illness is added, that total more than doubles. Drugs are also closely related to crime. Many police forces no longer distinguish between illegal and legal drugs when fighting crime. In Australia, for example, experts estimate that police in some parts of the country spend between 70 and 80% of their time dealing with alcohol-related incidents. International research has revealed that drugs use follows different patterns in developing and developed nations. While the number of cigarette smokers declines in countries like the United States, down by 0.5% annually, and the United Kingdom down by 2.3%, it is rising by 1.7% a year in the developing world. The Chinese now account for 39% of the world smokers, and the number of cigarettes smoked in the whole Asia region is expected to rise by more than 50% by the end of the century. Aggressive marketing of cigarettes in developing countries is one explanation for the rise, although some countries are starting to limit tobacco advertising. But Dr. Alan Lopez of the WHO is still concerned. There has been a massive increase in cigarette smoking among men in developing countries, and we are now at the point where about half of all men currently smoke cigarettes. Equally, we are concerned about trends in alcohol use, which is rising in developing countries as the multinationals begin to sell more and more of their products there. Dr. Lopez is also pessimistic about the effect of campaigns to grab legal drugs like heroin, cocaine, and cannabis. In developed countries like the United States, the number of young people taking illegal drugs started to fall in the 1980s. That trend has now been reversed, he says. We are seeing a steady increase in the prevalence of substances like marijuana and heroin. I fact some common is drug use in developed countries that legal drugs have become a part of everyday life for children growing up in big Western cities. Recent research in Glasgow, Scotland's second city, reveals how children progress from one drug to another. Kids of about 10 or 11 start on cigarettes, explained Dr. Neil Mskegani, who led the Glasgow research. A year later, they are into alcohol, reporting significant levels of darkness before moving on within a year to cannabis, and then a year or so after that into a broader range of drugs, LSD, and small levels of ecstasy, cocaine, and heroin. This passage is taken from BBC English September 1997, and I hope that you develop your listening skill by half. And this is Teacher Barok Tube, and I am Teacher Barok, world English #1 English teacher. Don't to forget to subscribe my channel. And finally, thank you so much, Teacher Barok Tube, your choice.